Welcome to the home of noble warriors, the 11th Infantry Battalion, also known as the Lapu-Lapu Battalion of the Philippine Army. The logo of the 11th Infantry Lapu-Lapu Battalion is unique. While most of the units have animals or symbols for their unit seal, the 11th IB shows a man, Lapu-Lapu, considered as the first Filipino hero, famously known for vanquishing foreign conquistador Ferdinand Magellan and his army in their attempt for colonization. Seen by his enemies not just as a courageous and a good tactician, but as a principled man as well, his reputation precedes him, weaving history and myth into the fabric of modern Filipino culture. The shield symbolizes the battalion's commitment and dedication defending the nation against lawless elements. The numerical 11, located in the shield's upper part, stands for the unit's numerical designation. The blue color stands for peace, which the unit fights amidst the war waging the state's enemies. The yellow color represents friendship and reconciliation, which the battalion offers to dissidents who wish to return to the folds of the law. The white color symbolizes purity and sincerity in working hand in hand with the people as partners for peace and progress. The red color represents the gallantry to the men in uniform in defending our country against subversive elements and stands for their bravery in facing in any threat to national security. The 11th Infantry Lapu-Lapu Battalion traced its humble beginning in 1970, when the 41st Battalion Combat Team changed into 21st Battalion Combat Team, reorganized along with Light Armor Infantry concept, and renamed 1st Infantry Battalion of the 3rd Infantry Brigade of the Philippine Army. Pursuant to General Orders No. 42, Headquarters 3rd Infantry Brigade Philippine Army, dated December 15, 1971, the unit redesignated as 11th Infantry Battalion effective November 26, 1971, under Lieutenant Colonel Francisco M. Esmas as the 1st Battalion Commander of the unit, where the Muslim secessionists called Barracudas, Muslim Fighter Commandos, were the first enemy encountered in Lanao del Norte. After a successful stint in Lanao del Norte, the unit was pulled out in Mindanao and brought to Camp Lapu-Lapu, Cebu City for retraining the Camagong and Molave warfare concept. Then on, the unit hurdled the mountains and plains of the Visayas and Mindanao and became famous during the Operation Tanuel under Central Mindanao Command on June 1974 in Maguindanao. Operationally controlled by Task Force Pagkakaisa in May 1974, covering North and South Cotabato, where the unit accomplished significantly as an infantry unit and was awarded the Central Mindanao Commander's Streamer Award pursuant to General Orders No. 73, Headquarters CENTCOM AFP, dated January 14, 1975. The recovery of Balabagan in September 1976 in Lanao del Sur, operationally controlled by Task Force Verbena in May 1982 in Camarines Sur, and Task Force Sugarland in June 19, 1985 in Negros. After few months of combating the CPP-MPA-NDF insurgents in Central Negros, Higher Headquarters recognized the unit's achievements by awarding the most coveted Chief of Staff Armed Forces Streamer Award pursuant to General Orders No. 15, General Headquarters AFP, dated March 18, 1988 by General Arturo Enrile, the AFP Chief of Staff, received by then Colonel Julius Javier, commanding officer of the unit. After a successful counterinsurgency campaign in Negros, the battalion moved to northern Negros to combat the area's growing insurgency. In 1991, under Major Alfonso Crucero, the unit scored heavily against the rebels, and several top communist leaders were captured. As a result of its good performance, the unit was directed by higher headquarters to extend its area of operation up to Central Negros, fighting two enemy fronts at the same time in July 1991. 1992 had been a good year for the unit. The 11th IB then operates with three rifle companies: the Alpha Company under Lieutenant Cerelito Isobehana, Bravo Company under Lieutenant Ernest Mark P. Rosal, and Charlie Company under Lieutenant Roberto T. Ancan, and one provisional company under Lieutenant Nelson Trujillo. The unit scored highly in intelligence, combat, and civil military operations. The CPP-NPA guerrillas were on the run. The unit was able to reduce enemy's organizing capability and its armed strength significantly. In recognition of this achievement, the 3rd Infantry Division Philippine Army chose the 11th Infantry Battalion as its best combat unit. The unit placed 4th among the 72 infantry battalions in the entire Philippines. After reaping outstanding accomplishments for the unit, Lieutenant Colonel Alfonso P. Crucero turned over the battalion's stewardship to Major Victor S. Ibrado. In April 1995, the battalion moved to Central Mindanao in Cotabato, covering the province of Sultan Kudarat and parts of Maguindanao. The year 1997 was also a productive year for 11th IB. However, most of the unit's efforts were utilized in the conduct of small unit patrols, security on government development projects, and CMO activities because of the extended peace negotiation between the Moro Islamic Liberation Front and the government. The unit was also utilized in the anti-kidnapping operations as the task was turned over from PNP to AFP. The unit actively participated in this endeavor under Task Force Tugis of 6th Infantry Division Philippine Army. The conduct of unit operations and civic action activities resulted in a good working relationship with the residents and the surrender of 15 MILF rebels at the battalion headquarters on April 7, 1997, bringing along with them 12 assorted high-powered firearms. On January 25, 1999, the unit participated in a division-wide operation against the MILF. The unit conducted a daring frontal attack against the enemy that heavily entrenched on Perez Range and captured Camp Afghan, a satellite camp of Camp Omar and headquarters of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. August 13, 1999, the battalion was moved from Cotabato, Mindanao to Panay Island in Banga, Aklan due to the Visayas' growing insurgency problems. In September 2001, the battalion under Lieutenant Colonel Ivan Samarita was ordered to consolidate force for deployment to Basilan. Operationally controlled by 104th Infantry Brigade of the Philippine Army, the unit was tasked to participate in combat and rescue operations against the Abu Sayyaf group who was holding 11 hostages. The 2-month-long brigade-wide operation resulted in several encounters and the safe rescue of 8 hostages. November 2001, redeployed at Holoselu and tasked to participate in the operation against the Miswari renegade group. In 2002, the unit pulled out at Holoselu and was redeployed back in Negros Island, covering parts of Central Negros Occidental as its main area of operation. November 26, 2006, the unit scored heavily against the local communist terrorists when they were able to monitor the plan to transport several rebels using a blue Toyota Canter truck in Don Salvador, Benedicto, Negros Occidental. Using the information gathered and effective combat of the combat operation, this resulted in the successful neutralization of 5 rebels and recovery of 5 high-powered firearms and 19 backpacks containing subversive documents and personal belongings. Then on, The unit was able to maintain high-level standards as an infantry battalion and was awarded as the best battalion of the 3rd Infantry Spearhead Division, Philippine Army in 2013 and 2014, received then by Lieutenant Colonel Paulito Idul, commanding officer of the unit. After the unit's long hiatus of confronting Muslim separatist group in the late 2000s, the unit was rebirthed back in Mindanao last August 14, 2016 under the leadership of Lieutenant Colonel Eugene A. Badwa as the commanding officer. The battalion was placed operationally controlled to the Western Mindanao Command and Joint Task Force Zamboanga with a specific mandate of protecting the people and securing 54 barangays, mostly located on the west coast of Zamboanga City. The unit was able to accomplish 0 bombings and 0 kidnappings in Zamboanga City. After almost 3 years of OPCON to Joint Task Force Zamboanga and Western Mindanao Command, the unit was reverted back under JTF Spear Control effective June 5, 2019. Redeployed to Negros Islands, covering 2nd and 3rd District of Negros Oriental to help quell communist NPA terrorist efforts and influence along focused area under the leadership of Lieutenant Colonel Ramir J. Redosendo, commanding officer of the unit. In March 2020, when the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic reached the Filipino audiences that resulted in declaring state of national emergency in the entire country as recommended by the Department of Health, all agencies are required to render full assistance in response to COVID-19 pandemic. The 11th IB, under the leadership of Lieutenant Colonel Redosendo, immediately coordinated to head agencies, local chief executives, and stakeholders in the province to render full support and assistance in containing the spread of COVID-19 pandemic. This includes the conduct of checkpoint in quarantine control points, repacking and distribution of relief goods to families affected by enhanced community quarantine implementation, security assistance in the distribution of government social amelioration program, loudspeaker operations, leaflets distributions, and the Army's radio broadcasting system for information dissemination about the pandemic, delivery of donated food packs to frontline workers, transportation of medical supplies and PPEs, and several others. Just a year after returning to Western Visayas from Mindanao, amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, the 11th IB remained steadfast on its call to serve and protect the Filipino people and once again showed their gallantry and dedication to their sworn duty during the successful conduct of Joint Combat Operation last June 18, 2020 in Barangay Luyang, Mabinay, Negros Oriental. The encounter resulted in the recovery of 5 dead bodies of communist terrorists and war material, including 3 M16 rifles, 1 AK-47, and a caliber .45 pistol, assorted magazines, rifle grenades, improvised explosive device, personal belongings, and voluminous subversive documents with high intelligence value. With these efforts that showed the unit's exemplary performance in both triad and administration that significantly contributed to attaining the division's mission through excellent leadership, command management of personnel and resources, the 3rd Infantry Spearhead Division Philippine Army recognized the 11th IV anew as the best battalion of the division for calendar year 2020. The 11th Infantry Lapu-Lapu Battalion intends to pursue bolder innovations and creativity in the coming years to align the unit and its personnel to the objectives of the Army Transformation Roadmap. 11th IB will continue to perform its mandate of securing the land and serving the people and intends to achieve this in close collaboration and cooperation with stakeholders. 11th IB served our country well and will continue to serve with gallantry and dedication in service to God, country, and people.